Hello, everyone. My name is Denise Scott, and welcome again to Entrepreneurial Empire. Today, we have a special guest. This is a compelling story, um, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. Her name is Miss Samantha Johnson, and then I'm going to read you an email that she sent me, and then I'm going to let her tell her story. Thank
Okay.
you, Miss Samantha, and welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. So, again, my name is Samantha Johnson. I'm living here in Houston, Texas, and Miss Denise was so gracious to give me just a snippet of her platform, and I truly appreciate it, and I'm grateful for it at every cost.
Well, thank you. Your email really touched me, and I am going to read a little bit of it, and then I'll let you tell your story, and then that way we won't be staying on too long. Uh-oh. Did I just do that? Really? Okay, hold on. Okay, this says Samantha Johnson. This is going to take a minute, but true story. Please read this. I am still in disbelief. I, along with my mother, have been raising my sister's children since she passed from brain cancer in 2019. When she passed, she left behind 8 children, 7 boys and a girl. The baby was 2 and a half and had difficult with the father. I'm sorry, guys. I need my glasses. When she passed, she left behind 8 children, 7 boys and a girl. The baby was 2 and had a different father from the other children. The baby's name is Bean, and he could light up the world with his spirit. The father in question popped back on the scene about a year ago, and after a few conversations didn't go his way, he got a lawyer and began the process of ruining our lives. Keep in mind, when we received notice, he still hadn't seen his son. Bean was going on visits after we came up with the family plan that wasn't signed by a judge. This past Memorial Day, he decided he just wanted his son and took him all the way back to acted as my own lawyer and was giving Bean back to finish what we started in Texas. A month ago, we went to court and we were supposed to have a jury trial, but after picking out the jurors and one testimony, his lawyers stopped the proceedings and argued he was the next of kin and should have the right to raise his son. The judge gave us less than 24 hours to turn over Bean, who is now 6 years old. Bean has lived with me since he was 6 months old, along with his school age siblings. The judge didn't offer any visitation or a plan to turn him over that would benefit my nephew. And I want to thank you so very much for sending me that, as well as having the opportunity to share your story. Um, how did you feel in that moment when you realized um, that you weren't going to be able to get him back?
Um, so it was like surreal. It was almost like a out of body experience. Um, I wasn't allowed in the courtroom as they did the jury trial, so I'm just waiting. So when they finally came out and everybody just seemed very hopeful and everything was going to go in a good direction because, again, we were basing everything off of a jury trial. We were very
Mm,
excited and we're just anticipating this group of people that was basically our peers to make the decision on what would be fair or what would be right for my nephew. So when they came out and they had got done doing their selection and everything, I was finally able to go in and we went back in. So when I heard that his lawyer had basically bombarded everything and stopped the proceedings and said that we were going based off of law strictly. Um, I was completely heartbroken. I was in a state of shock. It was
Mhm.
complete disbelief. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I just kept feeling like I was in a movie. I could see myself from afar, just seeing me sitting there, just breaking down and falling apart.
Mhm.
Um, at the time, the judge gave, I believe, 15 minutes after his lawyer handed our lawyer a stack. I'm no exaggeration. The stack was about this thick. And she said, if you can find something to dispute what she's saying, she said, then I'll hear it and we'll proceed that way. So we
Mhm.
went with our 15 minutes and I explained to her, I said, in the best interest of this child, nobody can honestly say that it's fair to pull him from everything that he's known, all the sports, the relationships, the bonds, the normalness of
His
being with his
siblings.
brothers,
Yeah.
all of his siblings. I mean, take me out of the equation completely. I'm his aunt, but I just felt like somebody had done surgery and without any anesthesia had cut my heart out of my body. And
Mm.
then it was almost like reliving my sister's death all over again. When I say I was at a loss for words, it's an understatement. And as I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs, um, putting everything I can think of into my lawyer, telling her, like, you have to make her understand that for a 6 year old, this cannot be good for his mental state, his emotional state. This just cannot be good for him. So she went back into the courtroom and she argued her heart out until she could. And the judge, with literally no grace period in between my lawyer talking and what she had to say, she just said that I basically have to go off the law. And based off the law, he is the father.
Mm.
And she gave him full and other rights. And when I say
Oh.
I just went into myself and I'm telling you, I felt like I was watching a movie and I just could not believe because I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I still think of it and I'm just like, this can't really be life. This really can't be real. This little boy that slept in the same bed with me. I mean, I trip over him all through the house because he's always on my ankles. Um, every time somebody turns a light out, he's like, "Oh my gosh, TT." And it's just
Oh.
I can't believe it. I'm still in a state of shock. I not once ever in my life wanted him not to be a part of his dad's life or anything like that. But to
Yeah.
cut us out, it just I don't know.
I'm so sorry that you have to go through that. And from the pictures that you sent, he has such a handsome smile, and you can tell he's so smart and so sweet. Um, can you tell me a little bit about your sister? And
Whew. So Miss Jennifer, Miss Jennifer was a force to be reckoned with. I mean, out of all my sisters, she was the most
mm,
resourceful. I'm sorry, and it's so crazy because me and my mother, we go back and forth. When you think about it all the time, we're like, we wouldn't be in this situation if Jenny was here because she would know what to do. But it's ironic because we're in this situation because it was Jenny's situation. Jenny was extremely smart. She was very independent, very driven, and
okay.
at times she had an evil streak. So nobody really messed with
Mess with her.
her or questioned her about her opinion about stuff. But she was,
Wow.
yeah.
And was she the oldest or the middle or?
She was the second to the oldest. I have five sisters. I'm the baby, and she was the second to the oldest. But even my oldest sister didn't too much mess with her.
Okay. Okay.
She was just not one that you
Really?
mess with. No, not at all. Not at all. My oldest sister and my middle sister, they every now and then would have little scuffles and like tiffs back and forth, but But that one, oh no, everybody pretty much left her alone. She was
Mhm. So what sports and what activities? Because I know you say you had him since he was 2 months old. Is that correct?
since he was 6 months.
6 months? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So raising him. I'm
So
sorry, go
since
ahead.
that's okay. So since she was diagnosed when he was 6 months, and at that point he was back and forth between Indianapolis and Houston. And when she couldn't travel back and forth, he stayed in Indianapolis for a short period of time. I want to say for maybe 2 or 3 months. But for those 2 or 3 months, his birth father was less than 15 minutes away. Never
Okay.
came, never called, never reached out. So I believe it was one of my nephews graduating from high school that was actually living here in Texas. And at that point, we got all the kids to come down. And I had my nephew, and he was just, when I say a ball of energy, it's an understatement completely. And because he was always bouncing all over the place, I called him Bean. So as soon as he was
Okay.
age appropriate to play sports, I put him in everything to burn as much energy and fuel as possible. So he
Mm.
he played t-ball, he played football, and then he played basketball. And this year he was actually in his second year, and they actually gave him the position of the quarterback. And he
Oh,
was pulled
wow.
in the middle of the season.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. And we talked a little bit over the phone, and you said that you slept with something in the bed. Do you still have that?
Oh, I do. I do. And
Really?
it's so ironic because
Oh.
when my sister was in therapy, she was in therapy because she ended up hurting her leg. And I bought her some balloons and like a big cube with all this candy in it. And this was one of the teddy bears that came with it.
Oh.
And as crazy as it is, he was so drawn to it. And he slept with it all the time. I don't know if I sent you any pictures of him sleeping with it. And then there was another teddy bear. Um, we used to always go to Great Wolf Lodge, and he loved Great Wolf Lodge. So this was the other teddy bear that he always slept with.
Oh, that is too cute.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh.
for a long time, I had a really hard time. I would wrap those up with my weighted blanket to give me the image that he was still, because he slept with me every night. Every time it was time to go to bed, he's like, "Okay, TT, let's go." I'm like, "So what we watching? We watching Ratatouille. We gonna watch the bad guys." So
Oh.
yeah.
I know this experience has been draining and just, overwhelming. Cause but as far as the aspects of, do you feel like um, you have a good lawyer and maybe the appeal can work into y'all favor? Um,
Well, over time I've thought about it, and I just feel like God is in control. So regardless if we get a lawyer or we don't get a lawyer, um, God is in the forefront. I feel like He has complete control over the entire situation. I'm literally just a minion trying to do a little bit of back work, but I do honestly feel like He is going to see us through one way or another. I have been seeking a lot of spiritual guidance. I've been really working on myself, and I don't know if maybe God just had a certain plan and this was just part of it. I just feel like the world is one big wheel, and every time something happens, it triggers different people for different reasons. So maybe this happened to me to help somebody else in a different situation, but I do
Mm,
have full faith in God that he's going to take care of the situation and see it through. So as bad as it is and as painful as it is, I am walking in faith and I feel 100% that God is in control. And there's no
amen.
need for me to really fear or anything like that because that may be his dad, but God is his father. So, and God is protecting him and watching over him. So, I just feel like it's going to be okay. I've started the process for the appeal because I know faith without work is dead.
Mm,
So I know I've got to do something, So, I have done that. I'm still um, pushing. I have a GoFundMe. I'm still pushing that just in case we do get a lawyer. But God forbid we don't. I am 100% ready to go ahead and go to war and do it myself, like we did in Washington.
okay.
Yeah. So, and then I do have a petition going as well. So far, I believe we have 144 signatures only within 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm working.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
good. That's
Thank
good.
you.
Um, I do have a little bit of information, and I'd like to thank Alice Hughes for providing me with this. It says factors that state court will consider. Every custody issue brought to the court will be presented to a family law judge who then aims to find a parenting plan that works in the best interest of the child. To do this, the judge considers several different factors, including the child's relationship with each parent, the child's relationship with siblings or other individuals in each parent's household, each parent's ability to care for the child, the physical, emotional, and mental health of each parent, the child's involvement in the community, and the child's primary caretaker in the past.
Hmm.
And from what you have said, y'all have been that and above to this handsome little boy. And I pray and hope that y'all get the outcome because he deserves to see his siblings and his grandma and of course you and all the love that you give. I mean, guys, the pictures that you're gonna see of the backyard where she has his own little space. Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Oh my goodness. So we were looking for a house and in the very beginning of us looking for a house, we actually were in contact with his dad and we offered to move to his state because I'm like, it would be so cool for us to all be in the same city and it
Mhm.
not be a big deal about, I'm going to my dad's house or I'm staying in Nana's house or I'm being with my TT, I'm gonna hang out with my brothers. So I just thought it would be a really cool thing. And he abruptly, within one conversation, was like, oh, no, no, I'm probably not gonna stay here. So, go ahead and look for you guys a house wherever you're gonna look. I said, okay. So I mean, we went ahead and we did that, and I came out here and looked at this house, and I was like, this house is kind of cute. And then I was like, I'm gonna bring Bean out here with me, so I brought him with me, and immediately, I'm talking about as soon as I pulled to the back, he he was like, I gotta get out of the car. I said, what are you doing? He was like, I gotta get my seatbelt on. I said, okay, Bean, I need you to calm
Oh.
down for a minute. I said, I don't know if there's water over there. I said, I need you to calm down. He was like, okay, TT. I said, okay, what do we do? He said, I said, okay, you ready to get out the car? He said, yes. And as soon as he got out of the car, he A-line straight to the backyard to where they have the person that lived here before actually made a place set. And it's not like a rinky dink play. No, no, no. This looks like something professionally put together by like a real carpenter
Oh,
or
wow.
it looks really, really good. So they made that and then right next to the big play set that's just age appropriate for him. My other kids don't too much care for it. Um, there's like a swimming pool. We thought it was a hot tub, but closer examination and looking at the pump and everything, there's no heater. So it's actually just like a man-made swimming pool, but it's like perfect for him and he taught himself how to swim in it. So he picked this house.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought that y'all like, how you do like home projects or something. I actually thought that y'all did that yourselves. I did not know
Oh,
that it was already.
I wish. Oh,
She looked at me,
absolutely
guys,
not.
like, wait a minute. No, I don't think so.
I'm good, but I'm not that good. I'm not even gonna say I'm all right. I'm all right.
Okay. I mean, because that little area is so cute.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
To get fucking loco in here. Locsta on the beat.
Yeah.
So, would you like to talk about what this has done to you, your family? Only if you want to. Um,
I will. So it has made me really look at people in a different point of view. My trust for people is completely out of the window because upon meeting his dad, I completely gave him open range. I was like, okay, so we're family, all based off of this little boy. I said, because you're related to him, you're his dad, which means that you're related to me. I don't know what we would have specified it as, but we're family. And that's what I
mhm.
told him. And I was like, I want you to feel like we're family. And he was like, okay, I just don't want to feel like I'm cut out. Those were his words exactly. I said, well, I promise you, I give you my word. From here on out, you will not feel cut out for me. So please do not get mad when I start sending you these pictures. Don't get mad when I blow up your phone. I said, because I'm gonna make you feel as incorporated in our family as I possibly can. Because
Okay.
the other kid's dad is extremely active. We take family trips together. Um, because he knew that we were going through all of this stuff, he paid for us to go on a cruise. Everybody
Mm.
in the household, including this baby, that wasn't allowed to go because his
Oh,
father won custody. So he said, so regardless if you guys win or you guys lose, y'all are gonna need a break because y'all have been through so much over this year. And he
mhm.
didn't go, but he just paid for all his kids to go, his
Oh.
mother-in-law to go, or ex-mother-in-law since my sister passed. But
Mhm.
it has really made me look at men in a completely different light. I don't trust the same. Um, my outlook on relationships have changed completely. I went through a phase where I beat myself up like, was there something else I could have done? Did I make him not feel involved? But I know I did. When I sat back and me and God had an in-depth conversation, I understood it wasn't about me. This was something
Okay.
he was going to just do regardless. And even when he took him Memorial Day weekend and went back to Washington with my nephew,
Mhm.
and we were forced to go up there and act as our own lawyers to get him back. When we got him back, we still did not cut him out. We did not cut him out. I mean, when we got back, when he called and wanted to speak to my nephew, I made
Mhm.
sure that he was available for the simple fact that my feelings are on the back burner. This is my
You just
nephew's dad. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the right. Who am I? I don't have the right to disconnect that bond. And this was something he was scared of. I mean, it was horrible what he did, and it cost a nice, pretty penny. But at the same time, again, who am I? I don't have the right to disconnect them from having a relationship. You want to talk to your son, that's fine. But he didn't do the same. When we went to
yeah.
Washington, we had to search, we had to get a PI. There was no communication. When we went to go pick him up from Memorial Day weekend, we sat there in that parking lot for hours,
Mm.
not knowing if something happened to him, calling hospitals, thinking maybe he got into a car accident, only because things had been so well. Like we had gotten along so well. So it just was like, this is just what he wanted. So it's just really made me look at things completely different. But there was one more thing I did when I think we did touch and talk about it. My nephew Actually, before he went on Memorial Day weekend, do you remember us talking about that briefly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my nephew disclosed that he didn't want to go because he was scared and he wasn't going to see me again. So it wasn't that he didn't want to see his dad, he just didn't want to be cut off from me,
Mm.
his siblings, his nana.
Yes.
So I have had to find some way to rest my heart and understand that as young as my nephew is, he's very, very intelligent and he knows that going with his dad does mean cut off from us, but it's not us writing him off. It's not something that we just don't want to deal with him or we don't like. He knows that we love him
Yeah.
deeply. So I've just had to do a whole lot of soul searching and my whole circle, everything I've done, the conversations I've had, the people I've interacted, everything I've had to reevaluate everything because it's just so crazy and bizarre.
Yeah. That's like getting hit with a Mack truck or something. That's a whole nother level. But I really think that there need to be some like special conditions
Hmm.
because when a parent dies, the grandparents and the who's left to take care of that child, and if they're taking care of that child, there should be some law that says, okay, yes, okay, you are the father and the mother, but this family over here has been in this child life for this many years. There
Hmm.
still should be some visitation, some some summer or something. Don't just cut you off completely and say that you can't have anything.
Yes.
That's a part of his mom, you know, that he's missing out on being the love and the nurture that he needs from both sides of the family.
Yeah. And so now when my sister's her birthday's coming up, so when her birthday comes, there will be no celebration of life. When her heavenly birthday comes, there will be no farewell because we do a balloon release. Um,
Yes.
and I meant to send you that. I just found a video of when we did a balloon release. I want to say he was maybe 3 or 4, and
Oh.
he was just like, "Oh no, oh no," because we let go of all the balloons, and he's like, "Oh no, the balloons, Titi, oh no," and I'm like, "I'm like, it's okay, baby. That's just what we do." But and like Mother's Day, there
Mm.
just will be nothing to represent who she was. And I just think it's disheartening. It's very sad, but at the same time I find so much joy in knowing that certain things, no matter what anybody does, they won't be able to they won't be able to take that from me. Like his first steps, me teaching him how to talk, teaching him how to walk, potty
Oh.
training. I mean, there's so you can say what you want, you can do whatever you want, and I'm not trying to stick a fork in them or anything or na 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 or nothing like that. But it's like you want to be this nasty. Understand, there's pieces of him he's always going to be curious of that you're not going to be able to answer. There's baby pictures that you don't have, but I when I say I flooded him, I gave him every roster. I gave him every schedule for football,
Mm.
t-ball, basketball. That way, when he came down for his visits, he can organize them and maybe make
Yeah.
some of the games or anything like that. Any problems with teachers, I reported them. I mean, I did everything I possibly could. The first year he came back in his life, we even asked him, we've had him for this long. Do you want him for Christmas? No, no, that's okay. I don't want him for Christmas. I said, "You don't?" He said, "No, it's okay." And I
Oh
guess he
wow.
figured, y'all better spend as much time with him as you can because when I get him,
Okay, maybe that's what it's crazy because it seems like you did everything that a caring and loving mom would do for their child. You did what, like you were stepping into your sister's place by offering this his father everything, communication,
mm-hmm,
time,
mm-hmm.
you know, who would send you a roster with time and dates on it so that you could come, to see him play? And you sound like you went above and beyond um, what it takes. And I just hope that y'all have a better outcome with this next appeal.
Miss Denise, it got so bad. This is gonna sound crazy. When he would call, and there's I think a 2 or 3 hour difference. When he would call and my nephew would be asleep, just
Mhm.
to honor him, to make him know like he's sleep. I took pictures of him. I would send him pictures like he's sleep. But if he wakes up, I definitely will, let you know this, that, and the other. Cause when I say I love, the love I have for my nephew is so deep and so
Like your
genuine
own.
and unconditional. I couldn't imagine that being my child and not having access to him. So I put
Mm.
myself in that position and I made sure that there was never, a situation where he could say, "Oh, she didn't answer the phone." Now, I did change my number at one point, but even me changing my number didn't stop anything because he still
Okay.
had access through my mom. She hasn't changed her number in like 10 years. So he
I
always
said
had
10
access.
years.
Yeah.
And how does she feel about all of this?
Um my mother is a little bit different than me. So whereas I may cry, she's fighting. She's got a whole list of what she's going to do and this is how it's going to pan out, and I mean she may cry behind closed doors, but she is tough. She's much like my sister Jenny was.
Okay.
Very much like her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are about to close this out. Did you have any last words that you would like to say, Miss Samantha?
Um I do want to let you know that I am in the process of writing a book. And there are a lot of things I didn't say, but they will be in the book. And I would love to come back and give you more
Yes.
insight
Yes, I would
once the
love
book
that.
is finished.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Everyone, this story is heartfelt, it's compelling, and I hope that you find in your hearts to pray. They say when one come together, anything is possible. Um,
Absolutely.
and this is one story that needs to be heard, and more people need to understand it. It not only takes a village, but
Mm-hmm.
it takes both sides. Not
Absolutely.
only does it take both sides, but it takes and I'm not going to say this in a mean way, people, but the so-called churches and the schools that need to do better. Everybody. That's why that child grows up to feel that love and
Mm-hmm.
protection, and it's not given enough. And so,
Mm-hmm.
please, whoever, pray that everything is going to work out for this family. Thank you all for tuning in. We do accept donations and we welcome sponsorships. This is Entrepreneurial Empire. And again, thank you for tuning in with Miss Samantha Johnson.
Thank you for having me, Miss Denise. You have a great, great afternoon. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.